Welcome back everyone to Play On. My name is Candace Barrett.
I'm Rob Mackay.
And this is Pearcey.
This week, the main focus would be on the new laws that are passed. However, we're just going to talk about some highlights that we've had in the past week or so. Cape Town Sevens. Anyone watched it? I know it feels like a little while ago, but I'm really excited that the fact that for the Women's Cup final, Sunny Lee got her first time doing that as a cup final, and that was US versus New Zealand. And Ella Goldsmith was one of the ARs as well, so you can see how she's progressing through some of the tournaments. The next one's in Perth, so it'll be interesting to see like a home one, how that looks. And there is the Men's Cup final, but my stand wouldn't let me see the referee's name. They would cut it straight to like blowing the whistle. You know how normally you can... Anyway, but that was South Africa versus France.
And now that you mention it, I had the same problem.
Yes, that's a good question. I think it was the young Welsh guy from memory.
Okay. That was sort of like the highlight for the Sevens ones. And then we have the Investic Championship Cup. There's the European Challenge Cup. There's a lot going on in the UK and in like all those different matches happening. The England PWR. There was the round 7 of the UK Prem. So there was, for Quins versus Bristol, we had Luke Pearce. Not related.
No relation.
Whatsoever. No relation. Sharks versus Leicester Tigers with Adam Leal.
Adam, friend of the pod.
Yeah.
Adam. Yeah.
And that one, the scrums, like it was so many resets, and how you manage that would be a really interesting topic when you have a bad scrum day.
Yeah, I don't reckon there's many worse days than a bad scrum day. You can have a good everything else day, and a bad scrum day still ruins everything.
Yeah, and he was giving pointers, trying to like, and then eat both sides. Anyway, that was something I reflected from watching that. Newcastle versus Saracens, and then we had Bath versus Exeter, which was Sarah Cox.
Good summary, Candace. Well done.
I got a confession to make that I haven't watched any this week. I watched a bit of the Cape Town, but I've been a little bit amiss with the rugby this week. I've been sitting on my ass doing nothing.
You know what? And that'll be most people come next week, because for everyone to know, this is sort of the last pod or so leading up to Christmas. So we have want to sit down, fa la la top, and a Star Wars themed one.
Stormtrooper
you have
Christmas.
An Eiffel Tower t-shirt.
Well, it's a Rugby World Cup t-shirt, so yeah, that's as good as Christmas for me. So I think Pearcey's just trying to tell us he can't shoot straight.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I'm sure everyone's going to have a nice time relaxing and chilling out next week with their loved one.
Yeah, it's been a big year, and it'd be great to have a little bit of a refresh, reset.
Yeah, exactly. And even for hopefully lots of the like referees and match officials to get a bit of a break before the new year starts, because the countdown is on for lots of things happening. There's the Rugby World Cup and Sevens. However, let's loop to the main segment, which is the new laws that are passed, because I think it's really important. I think we haven't let's touch on it.
It is really important, and I always enjoy the new law drops. In practice, does it change what we do much? I don't know, and some of the referees use it as an opportunity to ramp up expectations at various phases. I'm always a big believer in gently. We're just trying to make the game incrementally better, not big leaps. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you need to do a little bit of Dennis Tenuto, just rule on the vibe. But yeah, it's important to know the rules so that you can bend away from them.
Are you getting a commission from the castle, eh? Because that you like to mention the vibe.
I love the vibe.
Yeah.
Vibe.
I think it's a good point, Pearcey, about the introduction, because I think we find that when anything changes in how we manage our game, the curve, if you like, the amplitude, it becomes quite big. And it takes a bit of a time to adjust before it sort of settles down and we get closer to the median of where everyone wants us to be. And we saw that in the autumn internationals with the escorting modification. Mm-hmm. At the start of it, generally, it was a little bit inconsistent, but by the end of it, the match officials had got into a groove. And we're going to see that.
That comes with anything, right? Like adapting to new changes and seeing how it works with you. And also it teaches the coaches and the players to sort of like how you train and adapt as well. Like it's a collective thing.
That's right. So we've got 3 elements to it. You've got how the coaches approach it, how the players approach it, and how the match officials approach it. And they won't align perfectly to start with. So there'll be some yin and yang as it comes in. Fortunately, the ones we've got here aren't that dramatic. So I
It
don't
shouldn't
think.
be a surprise, basically. Is that what you're?
No, I don't think
And a couple of
they're
these are things that we've been trialing.
correct.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
Correct. So
people are aware.
we're expecting it. We've seen it at international level. So now it's really, for us, certainly in Australia, it's about implementing these in our community game from the 1st of January. And because our season all kicks off after that, it's pretty straightforward. So
Yeah, your season makes so much more sense. I've also realized your schooling as well, like New Year season starts as well. I think it makes sense
yeah,
to
it's
introduce
calendar
it.
aligned,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah, that
it's
makes
fairly
sense.
straightforward. Rugby's going global, of course, which makes the global calendar complex, and that's something that no one's actually resolved yet. They're working hard on it, but it's tricky, and it goes to the point we started talking about earlier. Rugby doesn't stop much. There's a brief hiatus at the moment, but only south of the equator. It's going great guns north of the equator. Japan's about to kick off their season. I think
Yeah,
this weekend, if it hasn't already, got all the Northern Hemisphere stuff that you mentioned, Candace.
yeah,
Yeah, global calendar, but ours is largely calendar. And that's probably a good time to mention what we've got coming.
yeah.
The ones that are
What are
adopted,
the new laws?
so these were passed actually in November 14, the same time that we had the change of leadership at World Rugby. So the main ones for comps starting after 1st of January, we've got the 60-second conversion limit,
Yeah.
which is not a big deal. We just have to change how we manage that. And again,
Yeah.
we've seen that at the elite level. So that will come in. That's easy enough to do. Don't need a shot clock for that at community. Just the refs do it as they've done the 90 before. 30-second for lineouts, likewise with the scrum. So set the mark, you got 30 seconds. We sort of have been doing that a little bit anyway, but this is a more formal setup.
It's also like them not slowing it down. Like if all the forwards are like chit-chatting, they haven't given numbers, and like sort of like you have to manage it as well, like expectation when you get to the line out.
One of my pet hates is you get to the line out and the team throwing in has a sit down and a cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
They go, what are we going to do? Oh, well, I'm going to call my girlfriend on Friday. I've got lunch with mum. We're going away. Yeah, but who are you throwing to in the line out, dude? Yeah, come on, get on with it. So I think it'll speed up a little bit of that, and I don't mind that either. And we still have the beauty of the line out. It just is going to move a little quicker. And there's another one related to that too. There's a play on in uncontested lineouts if the throw's not straight. So that should be working pretty well because I think, again, a number of people sort of do that anyway. In fact, I've had players correct me. Oh, but they didn't contest. We should play on it. That's not actually the law.
We did as a law experiment in 07 and I've been using it ever since.
Yeah.
Just a long-term experiment that's finally resulted in.
Yeah, so you're just building up your data set, aren't you, Pearcey,
I deemed
right?
it better and went with it.
I mean, I think if you throw straight to your 9, you might have a little bit of a struggle getting that one past the referee. But that, again, that's just common sense, and I think that can be applied easily enough. And then the final one is scrum half protection during scrums, rucks, and mauls. And as much as I think we need to have some sort of mechanism that does silence a yappy 9, I actually like this one because it prevents the negative play where you got your second rower is bound to the maul legally. The 9 gets the ball out, and then this great big mitt just comes down and slaps the arm of the 9. And I don't think that's positive play. No one wants to see that because then you just go back to a scrum for a knock-on.
It's not basketball or netball. So.
No, you don't need that. So what they're actually saying is it's a bit like the tackle. So you're going to have a perimeter, and they're using the word near for that. So near the scrum, ruck, or maul. So
it's
that
1
means
meter?
That's your meter, yeah. And I don't think they've quite finalised the wording on that, but that's my understanding of how it's going to play out. And I don't mind that. That'll actually enhance the flow of the game. So they're the 4 that got up. The global law trial to call a mark inside the 22 from a kickoff or restart did not.
Wow, what a surprise.
What a surprise.
I feel like that was one that we all were just like, what?
Oh, look, that was the very first pod I was on.
It's not really working out
Candace,
very well.
Yeah, we talked about that and we're just going, no, this ain't going to work. And everyone agreed with that.
You can see what they're trying to do, but it's not going to get there.
No, it's
just encouraging someone to kick it back to them and stop. I don't know.
When
I think of you're starting
Pitching
a game, you should want to play with the ball.
It's encouraging a contestable kickoff rather than a deep kickoff.
Yes, it's a sledgehammer to crack a nut, though, right? So the intentions are good, but the execution just doesn't work, right?
Overkill,
So
Candace. It's
I'm like,
overkill.
what?
that one's gone, and I don't mind that. The single stop maul didn't get up either, which I
I'm
have to say,
disappointed. I actually really liked that one, and I'm disappointed we didn't get that one.
Yeah, maybe it's how it's managed, because weren't they saying use it, and then they would still go, and then they weren't really using it when you said to use it?
yeah. And
Is that also something that needs to be reviewed better? Like if
well,
they had the
I,
momentum,
for one,
they just
really
didn't
think
stop.
that if you can take your time and start a maul slowly and carefully, and then these rules are applied, it's very, very hard to defend a maul. If we can insist on the mauls being formed quicker and get moving quicker, and then if the defense can stop them, we need to reward that, because it is so hard to stop a well-constructed maul.
And most people, by the way, get most of their tries from rolling mauls now.
Yeah, there was a year there where the hooker was the top try scorer.
Well, Matty
Hermosa.
Fessler scored 3 in one of the tests, absolutely. So I think that's a work in progress, because we've seen variation in line-out to maul this year as a result of that. We've seen throwing to the front pod, dummy pods, more use of second pods, the line run round the back, the run round the front. So that's been a good thing.
Yeah.
I think this one will probably get worked on, because he got a majority vote from my understanding, but it didn't get the 75%. So there's definitely a mood for change. It's just a question of, I think they're working through that a little bit more. That's my read of it. The TMO, so that's community, and then added onto that in matches where we have TMOs, that protocol's changed as well. It's actually gone back more than your 2 phases for clear and obvious infringement.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Usually it's like if it's got scored, they only checked just that phase before, or right?
It's from the last change of possession or restart for clear and obvious infringements, knock on, forward pass, and in touch. And then in the final 2 phases, offside, maul obstruction, and tackle complete. So there's a bit there for the TMO to do. And I would imagine the TMO assist is going to be working pretty hard on these, because the TMO is going to be watching in real time. The TMO assist is going to be in the background going, whoa, looking for all the stuff. And hopefully they're going to be doing it in real time. So they'll say to the ref, we've got to knock on, or they might let it play out, get the ball down, and then review and do it quickly, hopefully. So I think it's about getting the right decision. The devil will be in the executional detail, because we don't want too many stoppages. So again, it's that continuum of where we want to be, 100% right versus flow of the game. And again, I think this one's going to ebb and flow a little bit depending on who your MOs are and what the competition is nudging them to do.
And I'm clearly not around the table on how we're recording success there, but I think one of the things we need to start recording is duration of game. If they take time out and rugby games start to take 2.5, 3 hours, which they have been, I think that's a problem. Rugby's not a NFL style sport that can take all day. It's a couple of hours.
If not, we'll need a halftime show and more entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw that in Super Rugby Pacific when some new variations came in either this year or last year. The real-time duration of the matches shortened by between 5 and 9 minutes. That's your benchmark now. If we can keep that momentum going, I don't know that it needs to be any quicker than that, because they were pretty good. The players were cooked. So you don't want this to slow that down.
And that's what we want. We want big players cooked.
Yeah, correct. I agree.
We love rugby when big guys are trying to put shots on little fast guys, and every now and then the little fast guy gets one, but every now and then too they dominate.
Yeah, and we're seeing some really good little fast guys in the game, and Harry Jones calls them leckerbacks. South Africa's got a lot of them. France have got a couple. You could even argue we've got a couple with our upcoming wing stocks. So good for the game. Fast feet versus big bodies. It's always a wonderful yin and yang challenge. The only other one from the law variations is the 20-minute red card. The decision on that has been deferred. So that one's obviously still in play.
And we didn't get all that much data on it, is my take on that. They haven't been able to assess whether that is a net positive impact on the game. Logically, it makes sense not to punish a team for 78 minutes if it happens off the kickoff. But in practice, these 20 minutes the right thing.
Yeah, and it seems to be a real polarizing
It's a
scenario,
big topic
doesn't it?
as well. I
Yeah.
think both hemispheres also have different points of views now.
There's a fairly strong push for remainder of that half rather than the finite period of time. I still think that has an element of unfairness.
So do you mean like, let's say someone gets, a red card in the second half, or if they got a red card in the first half?
If you get a red card in the first half, it's either, one of the pushes was it's either 20 minutes or the remainder of that half if that's more.
Okay.
If you get sent off in the 21st minute, you'll come back on at the 41 minutes in the second half. But if you get sent off at the 19th minute, you serve out the rest of that half. And for me, that's still that we're not actually achieving anything there. I don't like that one, but there's a push on it.
I think one of the other concerns was that it opens up the opportunity to send on a thug to take out a key player, which we used to see once upon a time in the days of old, and not just rugby, but other sports as well. And I have to say, I haven't seen anything remotely like that in any of the competitions where this has been used. So I think that's an unfounded fear. Again, to prevent that, you have really strong sanctions. So if someone does come on and do something horrendous like that, well, then you rub them out for a long time. And that sends a very clear message. Yes, you can take out the playmaker, but old mate, well, they're gone for a long time.
And maybe we need a darker card, like a brown card beyond the red card.
The brown card.
If you've
Is that like a code brown?
Yeah, code brown. If you've elbowed the goal kicking 5/8 in the head, you might just go straight brown, and that is the remainder of the game. Look, we all know there's a fourth slot in that card pack. We've got the blue, the red, the yellow. We can put a brown card in there.
Well, I think the idea was
Michael,
an orange, wasn't it?
Pockets. I have I have my red in the right,
you have
red
to have the little
right,
black sleeve,
and then yellow in left, and like the blue one's in its little folder thing.
Yeah,
you give me another one. I need another.
Put
pocket.
the brown one in the folder as well. The drama of actually extracting a brown card. You are poo.
Don't forget, Pearcey.
You're shit and you know it.
You're shit and you know it. There's a song there. We had the black card for a while, Pearcey. Do you remember that?
What's that?
The black card.
So the black card was where you held up your card holder to get a ground marshal in because the crowd are misbehaving.
Wow. Can the ARs use that? Can we have a black card?
No.
But the ARs could come and gather around the referee and ask their referee to pull the black card out. I do remember that. And I was on touch when one of the referees called it, and I walked out and told him to stand down. It's okay. You just need a hug. You're fine. When he was questioning your heritage, he was actually right. You're doing a really bad job, so get better.
That's it. Full of empathy, mate. Love it. And that is the latest on the law updates.
I love it.
Nice. I think it's a good little summary as well. And yeah, it's interesting to see how that will play out for next year as well.
I for one, I'm not changing anything. For kickers standing there over the ball, like let's call them there's a guy that played for Bathurst, Will Oldham. He used to use 89 of 90 seconds. He's now going to use 59 for all other referees.
Yep.
But now when he ponders over the ball, I'm going to say, just kick it, mate.
Just kick it.
Well, who's to say you can't give him a Pearcey special countdown? 2 for 1.
Yep.
2 seconds for 1. 5, 4, 3, 2. Kick. Oh, bad luck.
The other way to rush it is to actually take the conversion yourself while he's standing there mulling over the ball. Just kick it.
Just pretending.
That's time. Bang. Oh, I missed.
There are easier ways to get on highlights reels, Pearcey.
Yes.
No, do stuff with your hair or something.
I like that.
Says the hair expert.
Highlights of the year. Is that within the pod or just in general? What are you?
Well,
what are you guys thinking of?
I think we can do both.
Highlights.
One of my highlights is the fact that we've now got an Australian referee pod. So,
yes, I would agree with that. Absolutely.
So why don't we highlight that? Shameless self-promotion, but then have our own personal rugby highlight.
And while we're doing that, a really big round of applause for Candace because making this happen, that's bloody awesome.
Pat myself on the back.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a couple of highlights for the year, but by far the biggest rugby highlight for me is that Candace has got a referee podcast for Australian rugby referees up and running, and I think it's fantastic. I've had some great feedback on the streets.
On the streets.
So thanks, Candace, for getting this up and running. You're the spiritual leader here. And Rob, I think you've been pretty good too.
I feel so overwhelmed, Pearcey. Thank you.
It's been a real highlight for
Gold
me for the
star.
year.
Gold star.
The creation of a podcast and getting a little bit of energy running with it. So thanks, Candace, for all the heavy lifting you do there.
No problem,
As
guys.
people can
It's a
probably
learning
gather.
process as well,
Yeah.
right? Like
People can clearly gather that I do no preparation. You come in with everything. So thank you for that. It's a real highlight for me.
You're nothing if not consistent, Pearcey.
Like I said, Dennis Denuto.
All about the vibes.
I agree with you. The pod's absolutely a highlight, and here we are, 20-odd episodes in. So that's pretty awesome considering how it started, and it's actually coming together really well. And I think for next year we'll have some wonderful things to talk about and some guests hopefully. So I had a few highlights this year. Wallabies and Wallaroos uplift. I think that was
that's
fantastic.
a huge highlight. Yeah, to actually see a relevant.
They're our shop front, and the trajectory they're on is really positive. And whether we like it or not, they bring in the coin that actually makes the game work elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important that we've got them going up, and with the golden decade ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had people saying, "Oh, the Lions shouldn't tour Australia. The Wallabies are crap." Well,
yeah, so many people hated on us, and we just
and those discussions have stopped dead. So now everyone's getting very excited about the Lions. We're getting very excited about the World Cup next year, Women's World Cup. So that's huge for me. I happened to go to one of the many Christmas functions I went to recently, a little gathering that had a few Wallabies and Wallaroos at it, and to your point, Pearcey, the vibe was good. It was really good. It was good from the players. It was good from the administrators that were there. It was just, there was a lot of love in the room, and that only can be a good thing for next year. So that was a highlight of the year for me. The Shoot Shield Grand Final Day was just a wonderful festival of rugby. 4 grades at Leichhardt, some of the best games all season. The main game decided on the final play. Heartbreak.
Love that.
For Norths, it could so easily have gone the other way. East broke a 55-year drought. So
was it 1 point, right?
Yeah, it's as close as it gets.
Yeah.
And it's one of those matches where you almost want to draw because both teams deserve it. It was such a good game of footy. You just couldn't stop watching it. It was so compelling. Gus was in the middle.
Yeah, let's say Gus did that one.
Had a cracker. And that's another highlight for me, our match officials performing on the global stage. Gus has been outstanding all year. Ella is just on an upward trajectory as well and doing great things. So really pleased for our two from our association, but also our referees nationally, I think, going great guns.
Plus, with a switch from after the World Cup, you're seeing some new referees stepping in as well.
Yeah.
So, like for them, for their year, and considering what next year will be 2 years until the next World Cup for the men's side. So,
yeah, it comes around quick.
It's still not a lot of time considering how many international matches that they need to be using and working with leading up to that.
Correct. And my final highlight is the Tars beat the Crusaders not once, but twice in the same season. And that is not something that any team does very often, let alone the mighty Waratahs.
Well done. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a resurgence from the Waratahs, but that was a really good benchmark. We won't look at any of the other results for the year, but that is a good one.
Well, one of my lowlights is the Tars didn't win anything else. They were the only 2 games they won.
On the other side.
And it might be a statement of how poorly the Crusaders went rather than how good the Waratahs were, but we will ignore that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take the win.
Exactly.
Candace, what was your highlight of the year?
My highlight, since you guys mentioned the pod as well, would be when I traveled to London and met Keith for our special World Rugby law discussion. I think that was a really interesting episode.
That was a great episode, Candace. Really well done.
And
that was awesome.
It sort of highlights, I naturally like to have honest conversations with people and like to have a bit more fun side of the match officials that some people don't see or understand. So I think that's the main reason why I started this, but also why it's a highlight for me to sort of push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit, but also something I was really excited on doing. That is a highlight for me.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm looking forward to seeing you back out in the paddock next year. Fully
Oh my goodness.
Me
yes,
too.
Please. I don't think people understand. I'm a super active person. I would be running, gymming every day if I wanted to. and I'm finally back doing more runs now. And even yesterday was our 2.4K test that we do for the Sydney referees. And I couldn't join it this year. This time last year, I was doing it and I got a really good time. I was really proud of myself. So I'm just plodding along, wanting to follow all those really annoying rules and steps you have to do to get back.
The rehab pathway, I love it.
I totally feel for either referees or athletes that get injured. It's the most annoying thing being on the sideline.
It is. Yeah.
But on the other side, another highlight would be, even though low light would be injury, highlight was learning about referee coaching and actually find that's a whole nother side of the game that we need to really appreciate the effort that ref coaches put in to develop players, no matter what pathway. And if you're international, you're having someone to chat to and discuss. And I think it's a really interesting part.
One of the benefits of the new regime of New South Wales referees with our great and illustrious leader is going to be the re-emergence of the value placed on match official developers. Because I think we as an association over the years have done a great job of keeping some of the old heads in and helping. We punch above our weight
just
internationally.
To chat with someone. You have no idea, just to chat with someone over a call to reflect on your match.
If you were to review the professional panel over 19 years since we went professional, we've had someone from New South Wales referees on there most of the time. That's a real credit and unique across world rugby. So the reason for that is I suspect we have kept some of those good old rugby brains involved. So looking forward to seeing the match official developers continue to thrive in New South Wales referees.
Definitely agree with that. I'm trying to think of any highlights for any matches and stuff, like how you mentioned about the Waratahs. Canada won silver in the Olympics for sevens. We're ranked number 2 now in the world for rugby. Like, we're really outperforming really well.
I think it's great to see some of
doing.
Other countries like Canada and Spain emerging as contenders on that seven series, which is wonderful. That's what we want. We want a worldwide game.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing that in 15s too, because Portugal definitely not Spain in the 15s. We had a number of the so-called tier 2 countries playing in the autumn internationals, and that's awesome. We need more of that.
Yep.
We need to do that every year, not just in the lull after a World Cup.
Yeah, no, grow the size of the table, the number of countries playing at the table. I think it's wonderful. For me, the highlight was seeing the re-emergence of quality grassroots rugby. And you touched on it, Rob, in terms of Shoot Shield. It wasn't just the first grade game. It was all the day, all the grassroots footy. It's just starting to, people are getting that passion at grassroots again. Out here in Central West, our grand final series was the biggest gate we've had by a fair margin. In fact, the gate takings were doubled. So it means people are getting along and you know, really enjoying their rugby for rugby's sake. So that's a real highlight for me. And I too am on the improve, hopefully getting back on the paddock next year a bit more. I did enjoy doing the West Fund Ferguson Shield grand final here in Central West for the women's game.
Oh, nice.
I'm looking forward to getting more footy next year.
We'll be on that journey. I think we sort of covered some lowlights. I don't really like saying too many negative things. Mine was my injury, but I don't really want to talk anymore about that.
Yeah, low lights. Look, for me, it was our women's sevens at the Olympics. That was...
Oh, yeah.
That was really disappointing for them.
That was just
sorry,
heartbreaking.
not sorry, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Maddie Levi break the record for tries scored at the Olympics, but I think she would have handed that title back for a gold any day of the week. And it's just one of those tournaments where every now and then they just have an off tournament. We saw it in Cape Town. Cape Town was almost an action replay of the Olympics, whereas the tournament before was them at their very best. So I was just gutted for them. And it was just one of those things that it turned on a dime and then they just could not get back. So it was more about resilience and mental toughness than anything else from the outside anyway. But yeah, that was heartbreak. I wanted nothing more than to see Australia play New Zealand in the Olympic final, because that would have been a cracker.
Yeah, agreed.
Rob, you have a golden whistle.
I think this is a great one too.
I'm so pleased with this one. So, golden whistle this week goes to a fella called Luke Rogan. Luke is an alumnus of our association. He is also a former appointments officer. He's very proud parents, Scott and Kim. headed off to Mexico to see Luke referee his first World Rugby Test match
Yay!
between Mexico and the
Mexico!
Cayman Islands. Yeah, Mexico and the Cayman Islands. That's not far from your hood, I don't think. Well, one of your many hoods, Candace. They managed to get there to see his Test debut. Luke left these shores a few years ago for various reasons and headed to North America. He's been refereeing in the MLR. He has refereed a game that was all white, as in the field was covered heavily in snow. And there he was out in the middle in his refereeing shorts. I've seen the photos. Super impressive. He's got himself onto some test match AR work. He AR'd at least one of the All Blacks tests in North America recently.
Amazing.
His father, Scott's also a former appointments officer for us and also one of our alumnus. That was just awesome to see that. And you think about where the next Men's World Cup is after Australia, it's in the US.
Right.
So that
makes so much sense, actually, because the US have they announced like a special development group. Because I think they realized that, crap, we need to develop our referees and match officials for this big tournament we're hosting in however many times.
And World Rugby are involved with that as well, because they know they've got to ramp up. So it's a bit of it's a 7-year ramp up, but that's how long it takes, because it's a 2-cycle development. You tend to AR at a World Cup first, and then you go in the middle of the next one. So that's a really promising sign for him, and I'm really, really pleased for him.
Congrats, Luke. That's a great golden whistle.
Yeah, it sure is. It's funny, Scott's also got a podcast, but his is true crime, watching two detectives. So if you're into that, there you go. Shout out to Scott. So, yep, congratulations.
Well, this is just a side question from what you said, because I've read, what does MLR stand for?
Major League Rugby.
That?
Yeah, Major League Rugby. So that's that's a North American comp. They're going through a few growing pains, but it seems to be settling down. I mean, USA Rugby's complex, I suppose that's the polite way to put it. But they're a bit of a sleeping giant and have been for a long time, but they're slowly but surely getting some things sorted out.
Well, the country's so big. There's so many states, and I'm sure some areas are more predominantly rugby associated than others. I'm not an expert.
And the tyranny of distance and travel for them is epic.
Oh, yeah.
They've got
loads of flights,
they've got bigger issues than New South Wales country, for example. Our geographic problems are nothing compared to the states.
Well, and they've got so many surplus athletes too, because the NFL pyramid is incredibly steep.
Oh my goodness, so true.
So you come out of college football.
It's the opposite of Lewis Zenit, just like flipping the other way.
It's really steep. So you got all these athletes who don't quite make it for whatever reason, and they fall off the pyramid. Well, what do they go do? Amateur American football, there's not a lot of it.
Yeah, it's hard to make it to the bigger leagues as well.
Rugby's a ready-made substitute for a number of them, particularly if they've come through the college system where rugby does exist in some areas, and it is increasingly so because it's an Olympic 7 sport. So there's plenty of player talent. And
we've seen just the edge of it with some of their sevens athletes, like Perry Baker was one that springs to mind. He was nearly a good
Carlin
enough.
Isles.
Carlin Isles. I remember watching him in high school and stuff, and I'm just like, this is mental. He was like ranked 30 in the world for like track. Yeah. Obviously can't ever get a medal, but frick, he's fast.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I remember watching some of his workouts thinking, nah, not doing that.
Yeah. Well, you just want to keep up with him. My goodness. How does extraordinary.
The referee and you see someone sprint off like that? It's like, great.
So it's a complex landscape. There's lots happening. There's lots of potential. If they can get their off-field admin sorted and the structures right, then, woe betide the rest of us.
And it's great to see New South Wales Rugby infiltrating.
Well, yes, and we have other infiltrations as well, as we all know. So
shout out to
you know who you are.
Well, I think we can wrap it up there. Thanks so much, guys, for listening this year. We're really excited to hear your feedback as well, what things you might want for the new year in terms of topics or guests as well for the podcast. So feel free to contact us on socials, or if you get to see us in person over the Christmas period or in the new year, you can let us know there as well. But thank you all for listening.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Candace, and Merry Christmas to all.
It's been an awesome year. We've done well. Pearcey, upwards and onwards. Candace, onwards and upwards. Bloody awesome. Love it.